What up, everybody? It's your man Dame the NYDC. Two mics up, man. Y'all ain't even ready for today's conversation, today's guest. Man, I'm sitting here today, man. I'm excited because I got a brother that's coming on that he's really, that star that's really about to shine. That star that like you're like, hey, where did this brother come from? That's today's guest. He's been in some film and some TV, some shows that actually I just started watching, and I had to really reach out because of this show that I just started watching. And he's talented, he's amazing, and we're just blessed to have him join me today on the other mic. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Marcus Brandon. Marcus, what's happening, bro? What's good?
What's happening, man? Yo, appreciate the love, and I'm just happy to be here, man. I'm honored. Thank you for the opportunity.
No, man. Hey, look, thank you for joining me, man. Like I said, because you're really starting to you're on that rise. You're on that rise, and kudos to you because your work is really starting to show. But before we really get into your career, I always like to start by just asking, like, who is Marcus Brandon really? Not the celeb, not the entertainer. Who's Marcus Brandon?
Who's the real Marcus?
Yeah.
That's a rabbit hole within itself, man. I've lived so many different lives in this one lifetime, and which is a gift and a curse. But I was very grateful because I grew up in a military family. My pops was in the Army, and my parents both come from very, very humble beginnings. I'm talking about, struggling for food, not having enough clothes to go around. And then my pops, who was from Moss Point, Mississippi, he was like, I'm done. I need to get out. And the only way he could get out was through the military.
Right.
And I have my different opinions on the military, but for that specific reason, I'm so grateful for that opportunity was available for my pops. And as he was in the military, he met my mom's when he was stationed in Kentucky for a little bit, and then we was traveling the world as a kid. That's me, my childhood in Europe. Wow. Which really, I think, really gave me an open mind as a young adolescent, and gave me a privilege there that some people are not able to have at such a young age. But I love experiencing different cultures, and I think that helped rounded me into the human being I am today. I still to this day love to travel and love to learn about different cultures and different experiences. But I've always wanted to be an actor, and I used to always try to do local plays, but football came around, and I started really loving football around high school time. I never played before then, but I played it, so I happened to be good at it, and it was good enough to earn a scholarship to D1 school, Middle Tennessee State University.
That's what's up.
And I thank you. I pursued it professionally for a year or so afterwards. And one of the teams wanted to send me to Canada. And I was like, that coldness, they ain't paying enough in the Canadian Football League for me to make that trip.
That's right.
And football wasn't that deep of a passion. I love playing the sport, and I'm grateful for the experience I've had, but acting was always my calling. And so I decided to give up football, pursue acting full time. That's when I was living in the DC area, around your ways. In your hood. And but back then we didn't have YouTube and all that stuff. And I was throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping to stick.
Something stick.
It never stuck. And I was like, I should probably move to like a Mecca, for acting, whether LA or New York, and New York was closer. So I was like, if I'm gonna do this, let me do it. And the rest is history. But
man, that's
I'm blessed to have two humble parents who worked very hard, instilled that discipline in me. And that perseverance, and I think it lended its hand to me a lot in my career.
I can really tell this just by the way that you seem to be, genuflecting, if you will, on them. it really comes through just in your humbleness now. You're very
Yeah,
low key, very even keeled.
yeah, I'm
So
sure.
yeah, no, but and I can see that, as you're speaking though, you can see how it oozed and seeped into who you've become today.
Sure.
So I mean that's dope. Shout out to mom and dad, man. I mean,
Yeah,
great,
yeah,
great job. And shout out to you because nothing against football, hey, everybody loves football, but
yeah,
you chose to go the acting route, and make that was your passion. So,
yeah.
I also like to ask when people, really you can really feel that, like, Marcus, who is or was your biggest career inspiration?
Oh man, I think for acting wise,
Yeah.
acting perspective, I love all the greats. Um, Sidney Poitier was a big
Wow.
influence.
Wow.
His autobiography like changed my perspective on life. I love his autobiography, The Measure of a Man. Great book. Definitely recommend it. Um, and then the Daniel Day Lewis, the Mill Streets, Viola
Mm,
Davis, the Denzels. Big fan of Will Smith growing up, and actually the show that affected because I'm an entrepreneur as well. I have a business consulting business for cybersecurity. I did that
okay.
for a while, and the same show that influenced both of those careers for me was the Cosby Show. And as a
Yeah.
kid, I used to watch the Cosby Show, and Theo and his friends. I wanted to act just because the dynamic of the characters on that show was the chemistry was so good within that family, and just
Right.
all the characters, guest characters,
Right.
and that made me want to act. But also Theo and his friends during his college years, they were all engineers, and they had
Hmm.
engineered this device that would bring soda from the
I
refrigerator to the
remember.
coffee table.
I
And
remember
I was like,
that.
man, I want to build stuff. I want to be an engineer. So it was between robotics and computer. And I just chose computer. But Cosby Show, really influenced, a big part of my life.
That's what's up, man. A lot of people have their views or whatever,
Yeah, yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah,
But as a young child, young man growing up too, I have to agree that was one of those, because it was really the main show showing or highlighting people of color at that time that were somewhat influential. They
yeah.
had, a doctor and a lawyer as
Mm-hmm.
parents. So it was very moving, classic, and then there was some things I remember that episode. It was a great one. And talking about that, I want to fast forward for you then,
Yeah,
because you've nabbed some pretty decent roles, and you in HBO's
yeah.
Gospel Girls, if I remember correctly, you
Mm-hmm.
were
The
a part of
reboot.
the Blacklist, another great show. But now you're on Paramount Plus's Mayor of Kingston.
Yeah,
Now, man, that one right there, man, I really, I was trying to really get into it and catch up on all of it before we had the
yeah.
chance to sit down. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't. But the first couple of episodes that I watched,
Crazy
man,
show.
man,
Yeah.
man, talk about, man, just talk about like how, like your process and how you came about, or how you were able to nab that role
Yeah.
to begin with, man, because this show is something, man. It's
Yeah.
something. And explain it to the audience, please.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the process for me to get the role was a roller coaster, but we can start with the show. The show is about this family, the McCluskeys,
Hmm.
and Jeremy Renner, praying for his speedy
Yes,
recovery, continued
yes, yes.
success in his recovery. He plays Mike McCluskey, who is the center of this family, who are considered power brokers or peace brokers, and they help negotiate deals between the law enforcement, the justice system, and prison systems as
Hmm.
amongst criminals. And they believe that they help keep the peace and power in check. But as you can
Hmm.
imagine, a lot of things go wrong when trying to make deals. And the show is just crazy. It's in that same theme as Game of Thrones, where anybody can die in the
Yep.
episode,
Yep.
and you never know who it could. It doesn't matter who it is on the show.
Yep.
Everyone's at risk every episode, and that keeps you on the edge of your seat.
Hmm.
And you'll see even after the very first episode, you will be like, "Whoa!" I'm
I
like,
was stuck. I was stuck. I was
"Yeah,
like, yo, this is how it's going down. I was like,
yeah,
yo.
yeah." Actually, I watched it for my original audition. I had watched it to get the tone of the show and just to see how they move and how the other actors portray themselves, because every show has its own rhythm. And I watched that episode and I got hooked. I ended up binging like the whole first season because I was just into it,
Uh-huh.
unbiasedly and non-biasedly. And so I got my first audition, and it was for like a co-star work, correctional officer role, and I did it. I didn't hear back for a few weeks. I was like, okay. Then usually I do my auditions, I move on. They sent another co-star role for like a parole officer. I was like, okay, maybe they like me. They'll find something for me.
Mm-hmm.
Took a few more weeks, didn't hear anything. I was like, okay, maybe they don't like me. I don't know. They playing with my emotions over here. And they said, we want you for a callback. But it was a non-traditional callback. They sent like 3 other roles. I was like, oh, this is like 5th or 6th audition. I must book one of these.
Right.
But I didn't hear anything. I was like, oh my God. At least they must like me. But I didn't book anything. Then they came back a few weeks later. It's like 3 months in. They sent over the role for Diedrich, the guy who I ended up booking.
Mm-hmm.
And I read for them. I thought it wasn't perfect, but I thought it was a good take. And let it go. And they came back and said, oh, we want to give him the correctional officer role, like one of the very first auditions. And I didn't judge it. I was happy. I was happy to be working actor. I'm grateful.
Right.
Every bit helps. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And then they said in a couple hours, they was like, wait, the writers and producers like Michael and Antoine Fuqua and Taylor Sheridan, they was like, they're considering him for a Diedrich. Hold off. We'll let you know what they say. Mm-hmm. And a day later, they was like, yes, we want to offer him Diedrich. But even at that point, I didn't know the extent of this role's presence in the show, because they was just like, we have you for this episode. So I come on set, and then they started, because it was writing as we were shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And they started to develop this character more and more and more. And lo and behold, he ended up being like 6 or 7 episodes of the season. And you know, we were hoping, you never know what happens in the show, so we'll find out. But hopefully, there's many more. But it's a crazy, intense season.
Yeah, man.
Season 1 was crazy, but I'm telling you, season 2 is just. They taking it.
I'm telling y'all need to go out, man, and really get into this show, because, like I say, I was trying to binge it before, you know, so I could really be current. But I apologize. This, life happened, but it's a dope show, man, and really check it out, and really talk about that too, Marcus. Your character, like you said, because you had mentioned, going through the amount of callbacks and things like that, not really knowing initially which role you want to play, but once you finally captured that role, and like you said, kind of trying to get a feel for it, like how did you then go forward and develop Diedrich into the character that that we're seeing, like how did you kind of work that magic to make it as real as it is?
Oh man, that's a great question. That was also kind of an internal roller coaster for me, because I got the role of Diedrich, and they gave us the audition script, but they gave me a separate scene that's not in the season that was like 5 pages long, obviously, of Jeremy Renner's character, and it allowed me to really get into who this character was, who Diedrich, if you guys don't know, he plays the leader of the Bloods, and he's a rival to one of the lead characters on the show, played by Toby. The character's name is Bunny, who absolutely is killing it. And this season he is going. He's such an amazing, phenomenal actor, and I'm proud to call him a friend. And so I get this role for Diedrich, and he plays the Bloods. He's deadly, intimidating, as you can imagine, but he wants to build more legitimate businesses because he cares about his community. He wants to go the right path. But as a Black man and as a man of color, as you may know, playing these roles have not always been highlighted in the best way in media in the past. And so as an actor, as a Black actor, I have those struggles of thinking, I don't want to play a stereotypical role. I don't want to play a role that may not show my community in the right light. So that was a concern of mine. But the more I watched the show, I saw that it wasn't about these criminals necessarily being bad people or doing bad things. It was about how the justice system in prisons, when they're incarcerated, how they're being treated unfairly because of the color of the skin, and how different groups and races are being treated within the justice system, and they was highlighting that in the racism. So I thought, oh, there's something there. There's substance. There's a message behind it.
There's a message behind it, yeah.
And that allowed me to really open up and receive this role. And my parents come from humble beginnings. I lived in so many different environments. I lived in projects, suburbs, overseas in Europe. So I'm able as actors to grab from a lot of different sources,
Wow.
from life experiences and living in the hood at times, being around people who were related to gangs in real life and able to
Mm-hmm.
pull from that experience. Just taking everything that my life experiences have brought me and
Mm-hmm.
really understanding who Dietrich is, because even villains or people considered bad on TV still have good intentions. You know,
That's right.
everyone thinks their intentions are righteous. So
Mm-hmm.
even though you may perceive them as doing something bad, that character or that person believes that they're doing something right for
Yep.
their own reasons.
So
So yeah,
true.
that's pretty much how it came about, man.
Man, look, I know one thing, man. I love how you tied it up because it's so true, and you're bringing that to life, and I do understand. Um, it's funny. I was listening to a song the other day I hadn't listened to in years.
Yeah.
Jada Kiss, the Why song with Anthony Hamilton,
Oh
and
yeah.
he just kind of talks about why did Denzel have to be crooked before he took it before, you know what I'm saying, and
Mm-hmm.
that resonates with me. Like I'm hearing you talk now, like you do want to be mindful in today's age. I understand it's work.
Mm-hmm.
This is your
Mm-hmm.
craft,
Yeah.
but how you are portrayed
Mm-hmm.
or the character that you're playing and how that character is portrayed as a man of
Right.
color. It's a very sensitive topic. And I do understand, even, with this platform, trying
Yeah.
to remain, sometimes I have to pull myself back from
Mm-hmm.
some of the things that I would probably normally want to say.
yeah.
Um, and we can laugh about it because we know it's true.
Yeah.
But you have to be professional and you really have to work to craft yourself
True.
into a way that is deliverable, is palatable, and that you're comfortable with. Because
Right.
at the end of the day, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask too, because I think what's important that leads from that, you still probably have a bucket list of things that you would like to do
Yeah. For
in the
sure.
entertainment industry. Because, like I said, you really
Yeah.
just starting to get off on
Yeah.
that
Start.
rise and that
Yeah.
journey, bro. So, like, what are like one or two things that maybe you have on your bucket list that would probably surprise us? Like, oh, really? That's what you word? Okay. Like, is there anything like that for you?
Yeah. Yeah. I would love to play Hannibal the Conqueror.
Okay.
And ride some giant elephants on the back of Rome.
Okay.
I would love to do that. I would love to be in the film with Denzel, Will Smith,
Yes.
and some of the greats like that. I think I would love to play a modern interpretation of Othello.
Wow.
I played Othello in off Broadway before, and I've always have been attracted to that character in Shakespeare. There's beauty in the art of that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the ancient writers, and I would love to see a cool interpretation of Othello, because it could be risky,
Yeah.
but if it's a great take, I would love to see what that would look like and reflect it off of today's society.
Yeah. That's
For
dope,
sure.
man. Because so do you prefer, and not to say you have a preference, do you prefer the theater more than maybe sometimes film? Because of I
Yeah,
hear that it's an instant reaction.
yeah, yeah. No, I love it. I think the theater is every true actor's home base and refuge. I think in the actor, and if you've been to plays,
Mm-hmm.
you can see the freedom that actors have on stage versus being fit into a box, on the screen.
Mm.
Because when you're on film, you have to minimize things because you can't
Uh,
be as expressive. I can't throw my arms all over the place because then
I
it's
see.
distracting for the viewer. But in
Right.
theater, I could be as free emotionally as I want. Like I could go crazy. I could, there's no limit to what my body can do. I don't have to be like, oh, I have to sit here. I have to make sure I look here. I can't look too far down, because my
Mm.
eyes are important on camera. But in theater, it's just complete freedom and it's more human nature,
Mm.
in theater. So I will always have a great love for theater, and all the in my opinion, all the greatest actors have a theater background, and that was important to me, which was another reason why I moved to New York. I wanted that foundation,
Mm.
because there's just I don't know, just something special about theater, and there's always will be.
Man, that's deep, man. I love that. I love the contrast. No, and again, as a fan, like whether you be a fan of a celebrity or an artist, or even like something you never really think of. But
Yeah.
like as you were talking about, I can see the pageantry and the energy. You do feel a little bit more electric, being in the theater, like you said, off
Yeah.
Broadway, Broadway. It's a different energy. There's a
Oh yeah.
different electricness, if you
Yeah.
will, to it. So yeah, I
Yeah.
love that contrast, man.
Yeah.
Um, if I have to ask, like, riding this wave of success for you,
Mm.
because there has to be a flip side. Like as things grow in anything you do, you experience, sometimes you may experience some negativity,
Oh yeah.
negative comments, reviews, whatever it may be. Like how do you navigate, that roller coaster of
Mm.
ups and downs, as your career has started to take off?
I think it goes back to what we was talking about earlier about the things my parents instilled in me.
Mm. Hmm.
Knowing how to have humility, but still keep your pride in yourself. And um, I think I have one coach in college who I'm gonna be completely vulnerable and transparent here because that's what we're doing, right? This is honest
Right, right,
transparency where we just
right,
having a conversation.
right.
And I used to have a issue with authority. I used to didn't I wanted to do things my way. I didn't want nobody to tell me how to do it, and
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, regardless if it was right or not, I would be like, it doesn't matter. I know what's best. And a coach set me down, and he was like, man, you're talented as a football player. You're just talented, but you're getting in your own way, and you can be
Mm.
so much better. But your ego is keeping you from achieving the heights that you can achieve. And I took that to heart and really
Wow.
tried to since then work on my ego. We all have egos,
Yeah,
you
that's
can't get
right.
rid of it, but you can try to conquer it and manage it. And I did hold myself accountable for that. So when people are talking negative, I understand that it's mostly about them and their ego than it is about
Mm.
me. And
Mm.
I know not to always take it to heart. And I have my faith, and I believe what's meant for me is going to be for me, and nobody can take that from me. No,
Bro.
it doesn't matter what you do or do. If it's meant for me, it's coming. It's coming for
Mm.
me, and my path is on the way. So I usually just brush it off, man. Somebody says something, I brush it off. So,
Man, y'all heard it right here, man. Look, Marcus just dropped a gem on that one, and we talk. I have some friends and people that I work with, and different
mhm,
things. There's no competition in my mind in this, whether you call it the entertainment industry,
mhm,
whatever it is that you do. And I love what you say because you hit on the head. At the end of the day, it's already written. What's for you is for you.
mhm, mhm.
And I like the piece though when you say, people's ego is personal.
Yeah,
And I never really thought of it that way, but it really resonates because a lot of time when people now because it has me genuflecting when people say certain things, but inside I'm like, damn, why are you coming at me like that? But like I said, I never
yeah,
focused on the part
yeah.
you said. That's ego. Like you really, you and your feelings personally about something that you may see, because a
Right.
lot of this is what people see.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't really know you.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't know the real
Yeah.
Marcus.
Subjective perception. Right.
Man, and you just blew. I mean, my junk just popped when you were saying that, man. That was a real gem.
Yeah.
Um, so moving forward, there, Marcus. Like I said, shining on TV. You Gossip Girls, Veep. I think I left her Blacklist. Uh, there's another joint coming out. Is it Poker Face?
Yeah, yeah. It's airing right now. My episode
Ah,
out a few weeks ago. Yeah, I'm on
talk
episode.
about that, man. What's that about? Because now I got to check it out. Because I was just handed that, and I was like, yo, how we missed that? Yo, what's
it's
that about?
it's another good one. Another good show. It's a fun show. If you ever seen the movies Knives Out,
Oh
it's
yeah.
the same writers, and Natasha Leon is an amazing actress. It's somewhat of an, I think it's called anthology, where most of the cast is different every episode because she
Okay.
travels from city to city, and she has like this natural lie detector within herself that she could tell when people are lying, and she helps people solve different cases every week. So my episode, she's on the run herself from her own troubles, but her character comes into my Texas town where I'm the Texas sheriff, and I'm acting alongside Lil Rel, the comedian who and the
Oh
actor
man,
who's
yeah, great
phenomenal.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I learned so much from seeing him and how he moved, and he gave me a lot of great advice on how to navigate this industry. I think her name Natasha McDonald.
Hmm.
I believe that's her name. She was great. And Laura Brown, all of them. It was such a fun set to be on. And the story is so crazy, entertaining. I highly recommend it because it's going to keep you just fully entertained, and it's a crazy show. And a lot of it's a star-studded show. like every episode has a couple legends in it, so it's definitely worth watching, as you can imagine, and some familiar faces. But definitely coming out. It's on Peacock TV.
Okay.
Definitely check it out, man. Episode 3. I even got to speak with a Texas swang, with a swang on there, and got to leverage some of my Tennessee history to use that. So it was just all fun, man.
Man, look here, I love it. So y'all got that Poker Face on Peacock. Check out episode 3. With Marcus Brandon, man, killing the game. So it's been a great conversation, Marcus. And before we close, man, I just want to ask, like, coming from where you came, your humble beginnings, and getting into entertainment, if there was something that you could share, one piece of advice with a young man or woman that wants to get into acting, what would it be that you would share?
I always say, man, because I was told this, that you can study, you can do your talent, get your business materials, your clips, and your resume up. But the one thing that has helped the most people is perseverance. Wow. And I've been told time and time again that most of the people who make it in the industry are the ones who stuck around. And because as you know, you could try for 100 days, or realistically, let's say you could try for 10 years, and you give up that one day, that one audition before that was the one.
Yeah. If
you would just did that one more audition, and I'm not saying if it's truly not your passion and you feel like your life is calling you to go another way, that's just like me with football. It's okay to say, you know what, this is not for me. And if you're 100% uncomfortable with that, then please walk away and follow your true passion. But if you feel like it's still in you and you're just tired of the journey and tired of trying, just keep pushing, persevere, because you never know, who knows, things happen. I started this audition process with Mayor Kingstown with a co-star role.
Right.
And went through several auditions, and before it was like, no, we want him for Diedrich. And now I'm here on To Myself.
Look. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I'm telling you, I don't care whatever you do, go out. First of all, support Marcus Brandon, his work. Go check him out, man. Everything that he's doing. Check out Mayor Kingstown. It's legit. It's real.
Crazy.
It's crazy. I also, like I say, it's crazy. If y'all like that craziness, that action, you don't know who's gonna go next or who's gonna get it next.
Yeah.
You definitely want to check it out. So. Marcus, thank you, man, for taking time out, man, to rock with me and our audience. Just know that you're welcome back here anytime, man.
I appreciate
anytime you're working on anything you want to come back and share, just chop it up with us. I really appreciate it. Before we go, you just want to share your social media real quick, so we make sure we put that in the notes so we can have everybody follow you.
Yeah, that's the thing to do. So I'm really only active on Instagram. It's at Marcus Lorenzo Brandon. I'm trying to come up with a shorter handle. If anybody got suggestions, let me know. But you can find me for now, Marcus Lorenzo Brandon on Instagram. One whole word. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate it, man. It's been an honor, brother.
I appreciate you too, man. Continued success in everything that comes your way and everything that you touch. Ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. I'm your man, Dame D, NYDC. This is 2 Mics Up. You can follow me on IG, Facebook, Twitter, at Dame D, NYDC. You can also follow 2 Mics Up across our social media, IG, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at 2 Mics Up. This is season 5, ladies and gentlemen. Mogul TV. You know how we do it. Make sure you check it out. Go out and support the show. And like we always do at this time, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe, stay blessed. Mics out. 007.